What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fuller Broadcast Show, 24/7 sports news, live interview, media coverage, and your MMA boxing, IKF kickboxing, and BKFC bare knuckle fighting. I want to thank my sponsor from sponsoring my show, JB Handy Pro LLC, D&D Bates, and QuitBitching.com. Now, if you go to the website here, which I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes, you guys can see right here, it's www.quitbitching.com. You can see my hat. You got some cool shirts, long sleeves. You can see right there. They also have leg pants for women. They got shorts for men. They got masks. They got everything that you can use. So go to their website. Make sure you use my code Fuller FULLER at the end to get 15% off. So thank you for enjoyed the show. You there, Anthony? You hear me good? All right, we're getting ready to go. Here we go. So, welcome, my co-host Anthony the Tiger Cruz.
What's up, guys?
Not much. Hey, there's a lot of good fights going on this weekend at the UFC.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I just wrote down the lineup, so I'm on top of it.
Yeah, I did a little bit of my research. So there's like 5 fights that I'm looking at right now that
Right.
are I think could be a good fight. So who you got
Yeah.
so far?
Well, I mean, the main event, Amanda, of course. The co-main event, Kobe. I think he's a beast. I've seen him fight many times. Um, I mean, that's it. I really don't know much about the other guys. I mean, besides uh, Gilbert Burns' brother. You know what I'm saying? Which I see some of his fights, and he don't look that dominant in the past. Hopefully for this fight, he would be. But I mean, even though he's a black belt jiu-jitsu and everything in the ground, he's always a dangerous guy. But his stand-up, needs a little work. But we'll see. We'll see how he does in this fight.
Yeah, the main fight I want to watch is I think it's Wineland and O'Malley. That fight right there, I think Sean is he's a great fighter. He's really strong. He finishes, and I think he's gonna come out and win on that fight. I think it's gonna be like KO in the second round.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, the lineup is good. The main events are good. The prelims are good. I mean, so it's going to be a good show.
Now here's the fight I really want to talk about. Hopper and I can't really pronounce the other guy's name. Caceres. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Which one?
The Hopper fight. I think it's 19-year-old fighter.
Caceres, yeah, Caceres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that fight right there is the second one that I think is going to be everybody's going to be watching because the first fight that Hopper had, he was amazing. I didn't think he won that fight, but he came out on top. That was an amazing fight. So I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, because I mean, fighting is tough, man. Because you might look good in your last fight, but I mean, that was your last fight. You always fight different against a different opponent, and so sometimes the other fighter is studying you studying them. It might bring a different game to the fight. So we'll see. I mean, they'll look good. But a lot of these guys, sometimes they change their game plan, especially against whoever you're fighting. If the guy's got a good stand up, you're gonna switch it up. If the guy has a good jiu-jitsu, you're gonna switch it up. And people might see a lot of surprises.
So what do you think about the Spencer fight you were talking about? Known as champion. Do you think Spencer could actually come out on top on this match, or is it going to be a tough fight for her?
For
Nunes
Spencer.
and Spencer, yeah. You
Spencer,
hear me?
Spencer, Spencer. Yeah, Spencer. I don't see him here.
It's a main card. I'm trying to see which one you got there.
You mean
Yeah,
you mean Nunez versus Spencer?
yeah,
Uh,
Nunez.
um,
Yeah,
I mean, I see, a lot of. I mean, even though her record is 8-1, Felicia Spencer, even though her record is 8-1, I see some of her fights. I mean, she won't be good, look good against other girls, but against Amanda, I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, Amanda has a strong stand up. She's good in jiu-jitsu. She's good in the ground, but to this day, no girl has keep Amanda down in the ground, not even for long, to get into a submission.
right.
So I really don't see, it might go to a distance, but I mean, Amanda overall, she has a great stand up, good knockout power, both punches. She got kicks, she got submissions. She's powerful too. When she hits you, she hits you. I didn't see that on Spencer. I see that. You know what? You know, I would think her game plan will be take it to the inside, take her down, ground and pound, and go for submission, because I don't see how she will go toe to toe where I'm at with Nunez. I don't see that.
Yeah, I see one of our fans here picking Eddie Whiteland to win that match against O'Malley. Yeah. So White Whiteland, he's a great fighter. He's got some power and quickness, but I think he needs to work his game ground. He doesn't have that much of a really good game ground. If he could
Right.
take it down and use all his power, punches, and stuff, I think he could win that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand how guys, wait for the last minute to tight up their weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know that if you become a pro MMA fighter, especially fighting in the biggest stage in the world, the UFC, you gotta be good at everything. You can't just rely on your punches or your kicks or your groundwork, because guess what? The other guy is just getting better at everything too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be rounded. You got that way you have more options to win, not just relying on your strength. You cannot always rely on your strength. That game was done 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody knows how to punch, kick, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and you can't just rely on one thing. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
So when as being a fighter and you got your first fight, okay, so if you're a fighter, your opponent knows who you are and what your
Right.
strength is and what your weakness is. So do you think would you change it a little bit and and or would that boost your momentum when you're going into the match?
I mean, I don't know how other guys do it, because other guys do study other opponents, and according to the opponent's strength or weaknesses, or how they fight, that's how they start a game plan, and how they feel the best way to fight that guy. I never did that. I don't study opponents. My camp might watch some of the guys fight and give me little pointers here and there, but I never care about studying opponents. I've always been a type of guy that I could adjust as the fight goes, because I'm so rounded, whether it's punching, kicking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I would not care where the fight goes, because I know I'm confident that no matter where the fight goes, I'm confident that I could, hold my own ground. But I understand a lot of guys don't are like that. Some guys, they got good punching power, they rely on that. Some guy got good kickboxing, they rely on that. Some guy got good jiu-jitsu and grappling, they rely on that. From the beginning, that's the reason I end up in Renzo Gracie. Because I had always a strong stand-up with Taekwondo background, Taekwondo champion, then kickboxing. So my stand-up was never questionable, but my ground was. And that's why I went to Renzo Gracie. I said, well, you know what? If I want to do some groundwork, I might as well go to the best school in the world. And thank God that I knew him for so long, and he always welcomed me with open arms. And that's why I got my jiu-jitsu and make my game better, and better.
So, what is it like you think these fighters are going through when one of the fighters have to back out and they got a fighter that coming in at, and that fighter already has his game plan how to defeat his opponent.
Right.
So that new fighter that's just coming in, do you think that distracts them, or they got to go with the flow?
No, no, because I mean, again, I mean, any fighter is not the first time, it's not the last time. That's just how the game goes. Even in the amateurs, you know what I'm saying? You could be
Right.
training 3 months, 4 months for a fight, and last minute guy will pull out because for whatever reason, injury or an accident, and that throws you off. But you learn to adjust. You learn to make the most out of it, and you're fighting at the end of the day. It might feel a little uncomfortable, but you know, fighters learn. Whether you got a good team to back you up or not, fighters learn over the years to adjust. Even in fight day, your coach is always screaming at you and give you pointers and whatnot. So even as the fight is happening, you're hearing your coaches throwing, hints, say, do this, do that, do that, do that. So it won't matter. It wouldn't matter if you really have a game plan because, in your mind, you guys will be open minded no matter what.
Yeah, I noticed that as the years, as me being a wrestler, see, I'm hearing impaired. I'm deaf in my right ear, so when I take my hearing aid out, I can't hear nothing. So when I'm
Right.
out on that mat, I have more strategy than that other opponent does because I can't hear my coaches yelling at me.
Mm,
So I have to stick to my own plans.
right.
So if because that's where I know a lot of fighters have different game plans. Some of them listen to their coaches, some of them don't.
Right.
So I remember this one time at my coach. I was at the state. I was wrestling. I believe it was for sixth place or something like that. And coach kept hollering at me. He's like, he yelled out at my mom. My dad was like, he can't hear you. So so I continued to do what I had to do. I
Right.
lost, but I regret that. Maybe I should have had a game plan with my coach, even though I can't
Right.
hear him. So, that's where I see a lot of fighters have different strategies. Some of them might stick with the same strategy.
Right.
So, like with Brian Maxwell, he said that he's changing a lot of strategies, trying to make himself a
Right.
better fighter. He's learning from his past experience to change a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that will make you a better fighter. So because in your mind, sometimes you as a fighter think was the best strategy for you. But sometimes a fighter, you seen things, first person. You see sometimes you don't see, when you're in the ring, sparring or fighting with somebody, you don't see your strength, your weakness, or your mistakes, or how you interacting with the other fighter, and that's what coaches are there for to close that gap. So listen, you have a bad habit, or dropping the right hand, or you have a bad habit, and when he does this, you don't do that, and that's what you need. That's why you need that second eye to correct those things, because when you reach the professional level and you fighting tough guys, well, guess what? These tough guys, have not only have experience, but they have good coaches too, and over the years they have learned not only to have multiple strategy, because they know that just one strategy, one fight is not gonna work. That's being one dimension fighter. That's not good. And plus the corner man's has experience too, and they see that, oh my God, listen, every time I do this, he dropping the right, counter him. Every time he kicks, he don't chamber, sweep him. And those are mistakes that one day could cost you a big fight. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
it's your job as a fighter, and it's the job as a coach to shorten those mistakes. With your boxing, kickboxing, MMA, they all go through all this. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have a good coach. And when you go to the gym, it's not about just training. It's about training technique and improving those techniques. Whether you okay, you got good offense, but you don't got good defense. Let's work on your defense. Some guys got good defense, but they don't got good offense. Let's work on your offense. Some guys got a little bit of both, but they might be not that great on the ground game. Let's concentrate on the ground game. You know what I'm saying? Some guys might have all
yeah,
that, but they don't they don't train. They don't take the strength conditioning more serious. So a lot of coaches, because a lot of coaches don't know how to train fighters, you hire a guy for strength conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Which I did for many years, and that's how you make a fighter better and better and better. Point out their weaknesses and close on them and make it better and better and better. And for that, once you put him in the ring with anybody, he could be anybody because he will not be one dimension. He's good with his hand. He's good with his legs. He's good in the ground. He's in shape. He has good reaction time. He has, all that makes a big difference of the outcome of the fight, whether you're going to win or lose or whatnot.
Right. So it's like when you watch boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, anything, any sport, you always have to up your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people go in there and say, "Well, I'm going to win this no matter what." You lose, you come back 5 minutes, you lose. You don't know what happened. Like I thought I won this. So
Right.
I've seen a lot of fighters that are rookies that make that mistake. Like they say, "Well, I've seen this guy plenty of times on videos, live. I know I could beat him." So once they get in that ring, there's only one objective they're thinking about. I could beat him,
Right.
right? So do you think fighters that are that cocky could change their attitude instead of thinking that and say, "Hey, I'm just going to go in there and fight my hardest. I'm not going to worry about win or lose. I'm going to make sure that fight ends in my victory, not go
Yeah.
in with a
Yeah.
attitude."
Yeah. It does destroy the outcome of the fight because when you have that attitude, just because you're seeing a fighter fight another fight, because remember, every fight that you fight with anybody is always gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna fight the same fight in your life, no matter with who it is. So to see somebody and say, "Well, he fought that guy like that. Oh yeah, I could beat him," and then when you see yourself in the ring with that person, it's a whole different ball game. Like, wait a minute, in your mind, so wait a minute,
Yep.
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be an easy fight. I thought he was gonna fight like this. Listen, just like you improving, he's improving. Just like you think you got confidence, he has confidence. But sometimes, there's a thin line between being confident and being cocky. You know what I'm saying? When you're confident, it's great to be confident because, as a fighter or an athlete, whatever, you're always going to go for you. You know what I'm saying? But when you become cocky and arrogant and think that, well, I could beat this guy or I'm better than this guy, and you have the mentality, meaning you're going to underestimate him. You're going to underestimate him, and you're not going to be cautious in the fight. You're just going there and thinking you can do whatever and just win. No, because just like you got two hands and two legs, he has two hands, two legs. And he's not gonna lay down on you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time, a lot of fighters, because of cockiness, they don't train as hard or they don't want to fight as hard. And that always I see many fighters in the past, with that cockiness, with same arrogance, and they lose because they underestimated their opponent. They think because he saw a video with that guy and how he fought over there, he think, oh yeah, I got this guy. But it's a different ballgame when you're inside that ring with him. Let's say it's not the same. It's not the same seeing something from the outside, actually being there in front of your opponent and be like, oh my
Right.
God, I thought it was gonna be an easy fight. This dude is tough.
So how many years you've been watching the UFC from bare knuckle fighting? Do you think the competition is better in the BKFC than the UFC? Are the how would I say it? Are the competition? Do you think BKFC is getting better fighters than what the UFC has right now?
It's not fair because it's two different sports. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bare knuckle is pure boxing, bare hand, and UFC, of course, a little bit of everything. So it's like comparing apple with oranges. It's not fair. I will say this. The UFC been around for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? They've been around for a long time, and I always uh, um not talk bad, but I was always kind of like point out that a lot of these guys, you know, don't have a big background, amateur background. Are these guys, even at the pro level, mind you, the UFC is supposed to be the biggest MMA show in the world. So guess what? So the biggest show meaning the biggest fighters in the world. But you're supposed to have there the best in the world, and that's not so.
Right.
Okay, because you have a lot of shows out there. You have good fighters, better fighters than the UFC, and you would think in the UFC you see guys with good hands, good legs, good takedown, good submission. I've seen guys, they still know how to throw a jab. They have no defense whatsoever. They get punched one time, and instead of having their hands next to their faces, they have their hands I don't know where. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's professional. This guy's fighting in the UFC. How the hell? It's like you would think at that level those things should be corrected already. That's why amateur have more than 50 fights. That's unheard of in the
Right.
UFC. You see what I'm saying? And those 50 fights will serve him as experience. You know what I'm saying? And you learn not only through training and sparring and your offense and your defense, and over the years you jump from coaches to coaches, not because, oh well, he's my friend, he's my coach. Yeah, he's my friend, he's my coach, but he has no experience. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, he's your friend, but who the hell is he? He's not a fighter himself. He has no fighting experience. A lot of guys in the UFC, that's what they have. They have a lot of guys that are really did not have backgrounds in fighting. A lot of guys, oh, he's my friend, or I train in his gym. Listen, that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? That's not enough, and you see it by the way the performance. You could see how good they are by the performance. They don't even have simple as a jab. They can throw in a decent jab. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's at that level, that's ridiculous. You should be able to throw a good jab and know how to use a jab, because a jab is one of those punches that whether you do boxing, kickboxing, MMA, you go use it offensively and defensively. It's not a secret. And when you can pop a good jab, it's like wow. That tells me maybe his coach, whoever's his coach, is not that great. You know what I'm saying? Of course, bare knuckle is a whole different thing. It's bare knuckle, is pure boxing. You'd be surprised a lot of these guys will not even care about doing bare knuckle because, again,
Right.
a lot of these guys don't have good hands to begin with. So imagine getting hit bare knuckle. You know what I'm saying? With no gloves, no nothing. It's a whole different ballgame. A whole different ballgame.
That's right. So, guys, you heard it. We talked about the UFC, the fight this weekend. We talked about bare knuckle fight. Guess what? We're going to be talking about boxing. Amateur champion, WBA amateur champion, top contender, an amateur turning pro, Shamara was coming on her show. Let's get her on.
Huh?
What do you think about this, Anthony?
Oh my God! See some of her fights.
What do you think about
I
her?
love her, man. She's a beast. She has a good jab. She has a good hook. She got a good
Yes,
hook. Yeah, she's going places. I like her.
All right, she'll be on here in about 2 seconds. So I'm glad to get her on my show. So let's get her on
Yeah,
here.
yeah. She's
All
definitely
right.
gonna be. She's definitely gonna be somebody to watch in the future. She's
There
definitely
she
gonna be
is.
somebody in her division to be reckoned with. And I'm glad she's in our show. There she is. How you doing,
Hello,
champ?
guys.
How you doing?
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
A little bit.
Perfect. Sorry. I've never been on one of these things, so I don't know how the volume is.
It's all right.
All right. So I've been watching a lot of videos about you and your interviews. So I know you get a lot of these questions. So when did you start boxing?
I started boxing when I was 14. I started training at 14. I didn't actually take my first boxing fight until I was like 17.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Started young. I like that.
So
I did. I started young. I was kind of in and out of
So I
boxing.
heard you said. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was kind of in and out. Being a teenager, kind of went in the gym, went out the gym, different issues and stuff like that. So a lot of on and off training.
So I heard you started like 4 years old,
Sorry.
training and everything. So you said you started training like boxing or Muay Thai or something when you're about 4 or 5 or something like that.
No, 14. So I or 14,
14, 14.
15. Yeah,
Oh, 14. Okay.
yeah. My
All right.
first fight was actually a Muay Thai fight.
Ah. What make you
So
go to
how's
from Muay Thai to boxing? You like the boxing better than the kickboxing, or what happened there?
I took a few different kickboxing fights, Muay Thai fights. I fought at IKF, and the injuries were so often. I didn't like it. I was always getting injured.
Ah,
My ankles, my shins, and I was just like, I'm injured more than I'm able to fight, and I didn't like
right.
that feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I can't blame you. But hey, I guess it was for the best because here you are, 2019, the WBA boxing champion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like not only how you fight, how you're able to use the jab and counter hook, but your attitude. That it's not so much the technique. What makes people a champion is their attitude and your character. You were talking in that interview when you won the 2019 belt about your past losses and how that get you ready. You were still consistent and fighting no matter what. That's an attitude that every fighters have because a lot of fighters, when they lose, even at amateur level, they take that loss to the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Not everybody comes back as strong, as confident. You were able to bounce back like, listen, whatever. It's an experience, next fight, whatever, and well, don't kill them, we can get stronger. You learn from it, and here you are. I mean, it's like that's a champion right there. That's a champion in the making, and I love that from you.
Thank you. It was definitely, I know the losses that I did have, they did come from fighting real experienced fighters, especially somebody like Yara Tapia, who's very, very
Yeah.
well known in Puerto Rico, very respected. And, honestly, it was an honor to lose to somebody like that. And I can honestly say the fights that I have lost, um, they were really tough fights. They weren't easy fights. And so that's something that I was just proud that, I'm able to step in the ring with such high caliber fighters and still be able
Hmm.
to keep the same pace even though the decision didn't go my way.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with that fight with Tapia, it's not. Yeah, she's probably was more experienced than you, but it was not a dominant fight for her either. You were toe to toe with her, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you can respect a fighter even when they lost because of the performance they gave. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and you just handing with her and going toe to toe. That speaks volume for you and your performance. And I was like, wow, I like that. I respect that for her. That's not easy. That's not easy. A lot of people cannot do that.
And thank you.
So what is it like to be a single mother? And I know your son follows you around everywhere you go. What
Yes.
is it like to have that support from your fans, your family, to be a single mother and be the best boxer in the world?
It definitely gets difficult. Being the fact that I am a single mother, my son normally comes to all my trainings with me. So while I am in the gym, he's sitting right there. I usually give him my phone. He's watching TV. It kind of gets tiring a lot, honestly, because not only am I training, I'm having to make sure that my son's okay. I'm having to make sure before I go to training and when I pick him up that he's fed, he's not hungry, he doesn't need anything. But it's also really rewarding because he sees me training, and there'll be times that when I'm tired and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. My son's over there yelling, "Go, mommy, go!" And it's like, man, I got somebody that's watching me. Like I can't quit. Um, as far as family, I really don't have a lot of family out here. It's just my mother. And my mom works full time, so she's not able to be there all the time. So she does help me when she's able to, but it's not very often. Normally, I have them with me. Um, so it's tough, but it drives me more.
That's good. That's what I love about you when you're fighting and you got your son with you. He's always there taking pictures of you. So from the time when you're training and time to your next fight, what's going to be your main goal training wise to get ready for your next fight?
Um, so our next fight, I haven't made the announcement yet. We do have a fight coming up. I haven't posted it just yet. But as far as this training camp, I know a lot of people follow me, and I haven't made official announcement. But changed camps. I did change teams. So right now I'm in the process of kind of correcting little stuff that I've been working on as far as my punches, as far as my cardio. So my next fight, I really want to come out looking really dominant. Whenever we fight, just to kind of show that we're getting ready for that next level of not amateurs but pros, because we do plan on pro. Um, I'm not going to release when just yet, but we do plan on going pro very shortly. So we're just kind of trying to take that training level up to show that, man, I can make it in the pros.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, like I was talking to my host earlier. That's why I like boxing compared to a lot of combat sport compared to kickboxing, MMA, because a lot of these guys don't have a big amateur career. You know what I'm saying? And you could see it start making a lot of mistakes in the pros that should be
Hmm.
fixing already in the amateurs. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because in the pros, every fight counts. You can't just lose because your defense sucks, or you lose because your offense sucks. I mean, at that level, you gotta you know really be in tune with everything. Okay, this is the time to tune up. Again, I need my jab, I need my power, I need my offense, I need my defense, I need my footwork. So it's something that I like about boxing more than the combat sport, because I like combat sport. You can see a lot of guys in boxing, kickboxing, they have one or two amateur fights and turn pro. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then you
Yeah.
see in the pro, like, these guys don't know how to throw a jab, they don't know how to counter, they don't know how to move. I mean, come on, man.
It's crazy how many people will go pro. And honestly, I do have a lot of people asking when I'm gonna go pro. And I, at the level that I'm at right now, I still feel that I'm not ready. So I'm not in a rush. I mean, I'm at training
That's
camp
right.
3 fights right now. And there's still stuff that I want to correct, even though everyone, is very supportive. But me personally, I don't want to step into a ring, because once you go pro, you can't go back. There's no redos.
That's right.
So I want to
Right.
make sure I do my career correctly.
Yeah, no, there's no rush, man. Take your time. There's no rush, because it happened to me too. I mean, my amateur record in kickbox was 25, 4, and 18 by knockout, and even then, I didn't feel like I was ready. I was like, nah, these guys are monsters. you know, but eventually, you got to turn pro. And
Yeah.
even in the pro ranks, I started slow. I was like, listen, let me take one fight at a time. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't predict 2, 3 fights down the road. Let me train and train properly and take one fight at a time.
And
There's
that's all you
no,
can
you
do.
know, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I have a quick question though. I know your nickname, but I want everybody out there to know what your nickname is.
My nickname,
Your
yeah.
nickname, yes.
my nickname is Pure Perfection. That actually comes from my old
Uh,
kickboxing Muay Thai coach, Chopper Reed. So I originally started off with him when I went into like the kickboxing MMA type stuff, and he actually gave me that nickname. And normally my fight colors are all white, and he actually gave me that nickname, and I've just kind of stuck with it.
Cool.
That's what happens when I do a lot of research.
Everyone
eh,
knows me
So,
by the name Pure Perfection.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Every nickname has a story.
It was just one of those names that was
So,
was given to me, and I just always stuck with it.
Cool, cool.
so how's your training going right now? From we've been down for the virus, and now we got all this looting and stuff crap going on. Has your training been the same before and now, or is it different?
Um, well, being that I did change camps, I actually have stepped up the training, and I'm actually very excited to be working with the new team. I'm doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't doing before, such as track work. I meet out with the guys, and it's a lot different in the camp that I'm in because now I'm not really in camp with any amateur level fighters. I think there's only one or two of us. The rest are all pros. I'm in camp with guys like Petufo, Jose Vargas. So it's definitely a step up from the training I was doing before. We do things like pool workouts, 6 mile runs, sparring. The sparring's a little bit different than what I'm used to, so it's definitely stepped up, and I'm really thankful to be part of a team like that. Um, it's just leveling up different levels to get to the next level, and it's thankfully it hasn't been affected by all the protests and things like that because our training is a little bit further out. Um, so thankfully it hasn't slowed us down any bit.
That's great. That's great because I mean, and now that everything is in a standstill, at least you really act somewhat active. That way, if something
Yeah.
comes along, you could jump on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
but yeah,
the coronavirus definitely did set me back though, because when it did hit, my son's daycare closed down, my gym closed down, so I was with my son all day every day, trying to get the normal workouts that I normally get 2 3 times a day. I wasn't able to do because now I have him, and he wants to go outside, he wants to play in the park, things like that. So it definitely set me back a lot, as far as kind of conditioning wise, but of course, I mean, fighting, I still get in there and fight. But conditioning wise, it did.
yeah, I bet. I bet for all of us. I mean, you could say that again, but I mean, thank God you got a new camp, and I mean, you're doing good with them. I mean, that's a big plus. That that could take you as far as you want to go. I mean, having a good camp is very important. People don't understand when you're a fighter how important it is to have a good camp. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
And have a good camp that they not only they mature, but they know what they're doing too. You know what I'm saying? It could take you anywhere you want to go.
All right, so if you were to go, I'm not saying now, but if you go pro in the future, who would you want to call out?
What's funny is I actually don't watch. I that it's funny, but I actually don't watch a lot of boxing. And as far as the 132 category, um, I think the only person that's really out there right now that I would really love to get in the ring with is Heather Hardy, which I have huge respect for. I follow her on Instagram. I
Ah,
follow her on Facebook.
Oh,
She was a single mother as well, so I have a ton of respect for her. I would love to share the ring with her one day. And the Serrano sisters, they have such an amazing record. They're Puerto Rican. They come from New York. I'm
right.
Puerto Rican myself, so it would be an honor to share the ring with them. Not so much call them out, but definitely, definitely get a fight in and take a win home against one of them.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned two girls and two boxers that I know. I know Amanda. We talk a lot through Twitter. She's friend with my first kickboxing coach, Louis Ruiz. I believe
Okay,
they're teaming up. They're teaming up. And you're right. She's from Brooklyn. Seven division champion is Amanda right
amazing.
now. Oh, she's a beast. I really I knew about her, but I never saw her fights until Louis was like, listen, check her out. Oh my God, she's a beast. And Hardy, she's I think she fights under Hansel. I'm pretty sure that she fights on the team Renzo Gracie in New York, which I'm also part of. I never see her fight much. I don't know much about her. I do follow her and see some of her fights here and there, but hey, listen, you're still young. The future's bright for you. As long as you're training and you're doing good, those opportunities will come. I mean, doors will open because I was talking to my host before. Thank God that girls now they're getting the recognition they
Yeah,
deserve. You know what I'm saying? Finally, after all these years with boxing, kickboxing, MMA, the girls always being the one on the side, like, because they wouldn't consider themselves a sport. It was considered more like a freak show. You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah,
and I was telling Joe from another show. I said, you could see a girl, who's like two-time division champion, getting paid less than a guy over here who's not even a champion. That's not fair. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not.
That's not fair. So I'm glad that now more than ever, Girls are getting the platform they deserve, the recognition they deserve. So it's great timing for you.
It definitely is. And not for nothing, some of them girl fights be a little bit more exciting than the men's.
Oh, yeah, hands down, hands down. You know, and I said that I've been saying that for years. So listen, I don't understand how you're paying these guys more money when the girls fight better. You know, are you kidding me? You
Yeah.
know?
So I hope during this shutdown and everything's going on, you're not eating a lot of junk food, just staying healthy. I know you're doing a lot of running with your son lately and your teammates.
I don't I don't know about not eating a lot of junk food. I recently turned vegan about 2 months ago, and I feel great. But everyone knows, anyone that knows me personally knows dieting is not my strong point. It is honestly the biggest struggle. I personally, if you send me a cookie cake, I'm gonna eat the cookie cake. I'm not gonna throw it out. I'm not gonna waste it. I absolutely love sweets. I'm a huge like cookie fan. I love things like that. Not really an ice
Right,
cream fan though, but I
right.
definitely do love the desserts.
That's funny. Nah, I think in the beginning, we all struggle with the same thing because as hard training is, eating healthy and dieting is 10 times
The
worse.
hardest.
Oh, people just don't understand how hard it is to eat healthy. Oh man, But the more you do it, like everything in life, you get used to it, and it's like,
You do.
you get better with time. You get better at it.
You do. Everyone always sees me and is like, "Oh my god, like what is your diet like?" I'm like, "Don't ask me that question."
Diet? What diet?
So there's another question I want to ask you. Are you staying at a certain weight class? Are you going down? Are you going to stay at the same weight class or move up?
So normally for my amateur career, I've never fought below 129. Majority of my fights have been at 132. And I have had a few fights at 141. I would like to stay within the 132 weight class. Honestly, my biggest goal is to at least get a 125 fight. I would like to come down and see how I feel. And I definitely do want to go up and maybe fight at a 142. But it all depends, like I said, how I feel. Definitely, I'm kind of playing with my weight right now as far as an amateur. Obviously, I don't want to go into the pros, never have fought at a certain weight class that I want to be at. So as far as amateurs right now, I'm kind of playing with it, seeing where I feel most comfortable.
Right. That's
Good,
smart.
good.
That's smart.
So from show's getting ready in here. So do you have anything you have like to say to your fans, your family, your coaches, your sponsors?
I definitely do want to thank all my fans that have stuck with me from the very beginning, that always constantly support me. I'm going to have a new line of clothing, t-shirts coming out again. So you'll see that shortly, hopefully, kind of in the process of that. Definitely want to thank my camp, Coach Nelson, who's my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Angus, who's my mitt guy, and the rest of my team. I'm very thankful to be part of a team. Of course, my family, my son, my sponsor, Alien Boy Boxing, promotions. They're over in Idaho. Just making sure I'm always taken care of. And everyone else that follows me, it means a lot to me. It's so rewarding, even when I have losses, that so many people reach out to me, and it just means the world to me.
Well, we love it that you came on my show.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for
It's been a
having me.
great pleasure to meet you. So thank you for
Shamara,
being on the full
Shamara, keep doing your thing. I'm a fan. I want to see you soon. And I know you're gonna do great. I'm a big fan.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Come back anytime.
Have a
So
great night.
have a good night.
You too.
Wow.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Man, I hate to get punched by her. She probably knocked my ass out right now.
Hey
My
man,
wife will.
she got a mean
No.
she got a mean jab. You better keep your guard up. She got a mean jab.
Yeah, what do you think about I see she goes pro. I think within like not assuming, but I feel the way she fights, her stance,
Right.
her punches, jabs, she's got that potential to
Yeah,
be
she does.
going to be a
She
champ.
does.
I
And
guarantee you
she
that.
and she's doing it right. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to rush. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys that turn pro and they don't think about the longevity of being a fighter. You know, the first thing they think when they turn pro is money, 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 money. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you cannot do it just for the money. You gotta be passionate and love the sport first and learn. You know, it takes time. You know, don't go there because mind you, that's what it's called. That's why it's called prize fighting. You're only as good as your last fight. So you turn pro and then you already got like 2-0 and losses. That's not good. No, nobody's gonna pick you with losses like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take the fighting game serious and take your time with it. You learn, train. Fight people at your level and grow. You can't just be okay. I'm pro. Let me fight number 10 in the world. No, doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Some guys do and learn the hard way. You see, that's why you should take your time and learn. I mean, it's a learning experience. It's not just going there and fight and be an animal in the ring. You got to learn and be a student of the sport too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, like boxers, MMA fighters, BKFC, if you think that the money is important, the fights are not for you. Because I feel like you want to earn that money, do the fights, fight and win. Show them that you want to be there to earn that money.
Right.
So
See.
the question is to you, would you prefer the money to fight or you want to fight to get the wins? The money is good, but you want to
Right.
show the promoter that you want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I did an interview with Art of MMA years ago. I think it was 2010, something like that. And back then, that's one of the things. One of my advice for fighters out there. If you're gonna do it for the money, you're in it for the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Because not every fighter, no matter how good you are, because mind you, there's thousands out there, even in your weight class, trying to make it to be top 30 in the world, top 20 in the world, top 10 in the world. Only those guys are making good money. Everybody else, whether you're number 20, they're not making good money. When you're number 30 in the world, you're not making good money. You know what I'm saying? To be at that height, it takes a long time. It's not gonna be just, well, I'm pro, I'm gonna fight and make money. No, because to make money, to make actually a living out of it, it's gonna take
Right.
time for you to grow up the ranks and be at least top 10 in the world. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it. And a lot of guys, they want to rush it, thinking I'm gonna go there. Listen, it's not fighting. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It takes time. It takes time to get to that level where you are recognized. You're considered one of the best in your division. People want to sponsor you. People want the sport itself wants to pay you a lot of money. To fight this guy or that guy. That takes time. That's not gonna happen right away just because you want to. No, it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So my advice always been, if you're doing it for the money, you're gonna die out quick. You're gonna die out quick, okay? Because that's not everybody who's a fighter or even a pro fighter make a good living as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? It takes time to get there. You know what I'm saying? You're better off getting another job. You need money, you're better off getting another job because fighting is not where it's at. And now, if you're passionate and this is what you want, and you in it for the long run, most likely yes, you are
Yep.
sooner or later you are going to be one of those guys who are top 10 in the world and you can start making a good living out of it because you're there for the long run, not because you're there for the money. The money is just the bonus of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if you thought about it, like when you're working at a job, you start at the low level. If you want to earn that money, you got to earn your way up to make that
Yeah,
money.
that's right.
So that's why I try to tell some people that I meet as a fighter. They'd be like, "I just want to fight. I want the money, man. The
Right.
money's good." I'd be like, "Man, if you're in it for the money, you better go start flipping burgers because you're not going to last that long. Because
Not
you
because
need to be
Yeah, no, because when people see the TV, when people see TV and they see the Mayweather and the GSP guy and whatever, yeah, they're making money now, but that's not how they started. It took years for them to be at that level. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say because, oh well, it doesn't just take you to be pro and automatically you make millions of dollars. No, you got to take years to get to that level and be good at it and be winning constantly and become a champion. Not just only one time, maybe 2 or 3 times for you to start making millions of dollars. And for that time, a lot of these guys, when you see their record, they're being in the sport for more than 10 years. They want it for 1 or 2 years, and just like that, start making millions of dollars. It doesn't work like that. You got to do this for the long haul. And if you're not gonna do it the long haul and sacrifice, because being a fighter is very a lonely sport. You gotta sacrifice time with your family, time with your friends. You can't go out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta go train. You might train in your own state, but sometimes you gotta travel to another state. With different camps and get different sparring partners and different training and different advices. Training, being a fighter is very, very selfish, lonely sport, and most guys cannot comprehend that. Most guys, they want to be closer to their home, or they want to be close. They don't want to leave their family. So listen, you cannot be top of the world, be the best, and not sacrifice. You're not gonna be the first, and you're not gonna be the last one. If you're not willing to sacrifice to make more money or be the best, you're not gonna make it. Period.
Yep, that's true. All right, guys, you heard from Anthony the Tiger Cruz, Shamara Woods. She was live on my show, special guest, Jeffrey Fuller on Fuller Broadcast. So I want to thank my sponsor, D&D Bates, LLC, and Quit Pitching Coalition. If you go to their website, you see on the screen, if you're watching live, it's www.quitbitching.com. They have some good hats. They got some shirts you guys can have purchase right here. Then they have women's pants, jogging pants. They have face masks. Just click on that website, type in Fuller, Fuller, as the code. So I appreciate JB Handy Pro Services. I wish him luck, the best. He's been having a little hard time. Hopefully, heads up forward, man. It'll get better for you, man. So thank you for watching the Fuller Broadcast Show, 24 Sports News, live interviews, media coverage. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow night, along with Anthony the Tiger Cruz. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys, take care. Whack.
Huh. So you can hear my echoes. Oh, shoot.